When it comes to your career, have you ever felt like you were living in the Matrix? And if you don't know what the Matrix is, stick around, I will explain it to you. Hi, my name is Sean Summercamp, and this is Motivationeer Christian Coaching. Who can forget that iconic opening scene from The Matrix? Okay, so it happened 20 years ago, so maybe you never saw it. Or you forgot about it. Either way, The Matrix is a sci-fi movie made in 1999 by the Wachowski siblings. It depicted a simulated reality where sentient machines farmed human bodies to get electricity to power themselves. Near the beginning of the movie, there's a scene where the star, Neo, is working for a large software conglomerate as a computer programmer. He's in a cube farm and the entire environment is really drab. He just wants out. What I'm referring to, however, is not the movie. I'm talking about matrix management, one of the big four organizational structures. The other three are functional, divisional, and flat. I'm going to focus a little bit on a matrix structure. It was designed in the 1970s, and from that point has received a lot of fanfare and a lot of flack. So I did a little bit of research with Harvard Business Review to see how many times that publication covered the concept of matrix management, and what I found was incredibly interesting. Going way back up to present, their view kind of shifted on the efficacy of this as an organizational structure. So in a matrix environment, you work within teams cross-functionally. What's interesting is you are going to be held responsible for the outcome of that entire team without the governing authority to command it. So leaders in this type of structure don't have direct reports. You're leading a team that ultimately don't report to you and don't per se have to respect you. If you're not familiar with the rules of engagement of a matrix organization, it can be incredibly confusing for you, maybe very frustrating, like Neo working in that simulated environment of the Wachowski movie. One of the best examples of a matrix structure is in a project implementation, let's say of a technology solution. You have a project manager responsible for delivering a project, but all the resources vital to the project delivery have their own directors. So that project manager can't really boss them around. And if you saw the video I did on the Coro principle, we don't want to bark orders anyways. We don't want to be kind of in that mindset. Learning how to function successfully in a matrix organization is a great skill to master. And in my opinion, it is along that spectrum of servant leadership. In Matthew 7:12, Jesus said, "In everything therefore, treat people the same way you want them to treat you, for this is the law and the prophets." Those who are successful navigating a matrixed environment have figured out the importance of showing respect and humility to every colleague. No matter how demanding the work, how intense the pace, how behind you are on the deadline, it doesn't matter. We still approach everybody from a position of humility and service. Why is it so important to learn this skill? Because the savviest companies use this type of structure or structure similar to this to identify their top talent to promote. After all, it can be quite difficult having interdepartmental responsibility for very large revenue items. You have to learn to step on people's toes very gently without really harming the relationship and still getting the best out of them and that entire team. Those individuals, companies look to promote. Some companies have a matrix organization or something similar and aren't really leveraging the idea of using it as a way of identifying your top talent. Those organizations still rely on job title and the designation of authority to drive performance, and it can be stifling. So if you're not certain how well you're doing within your organizational structure, just ask yourself this one question. How often am I experiencing conflict each week If it's a noticeable amount or getting up there to be a high amount, this is an area that you want to provide some professional focus. Focus on this. Any of the org structures, any of those four, other than hierarchy, which is kind of nestled within there, because as we know, hierarchy, someone's got to retire in order for you to step into that role. But another great benefit of these other organizational structures is you can, for the right type of talented individual, you can just create a job description, give them a new job title, a new role, a new function. You can realign entire divisions very quickly and nimbly because you're not crumbling a hierarchy. In fact, again, in my opinion, ambitious Christian professionals can really thrive in a matrixed organization. It is a great place to pursue accelerated career growth. Now, if you do work for the government, I'm not down on it. I'm just saying your creative ability to navigate quickly up the chain of command is completely stifled. You can still lead a very impactful, very rewarding career in a government role. One of my close friends just retired as a G15, a GS15, I think it's called, and he made a great impact where he was at. Again, there isn't as much flexibility to move around quickly, and when you do move up, you're going to get really a very small incremental increase in pay. Yes, if you're in a technology arm in the government, you do get promoted much faster, but it's still only $2 or $3, maybe $5 an hour more when you get promoted. In Proverbs 16:7, it says this: "When a man's ways are pleasing to the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him." So as you become more aware of your organizational structure and more aware of yourself, ultimately, we don't want to do this just to make more money. We want to do it to please the Lord. And in doing so, with Him as the focus, we make as our foundational motivation the ability to work well with teams. This not only serves God in an incredible way, it will ultimately serve our career aspirations. Remember, we want our conversation always to be full of grace. We want to be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry. And we want to treat others the way we want to be treated. The result will not only be an environment where we can experience that great growth, it will not only glorify God, but it will also be an environment where we experience peace. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for 2 new videos each week. Tell me in the comments below about your career situation, and I'll make a video for you with a shout out. You can also become a member at motivationeer.com. Your career is not just a way to make a living, it's a way to transform the world.